Welcome to the newest episode of NEPA Story. I'm your host, Kylie Montigney, and today we're introducing you to Christine Lacomis. Growing up in Northeast Pennsylvania as the youngest of five, Christine embraced her role as the family's rebel, carving out her own identity through her distinctive interests and hobbies that often set her apart from her more conventional siblings. After spending her entire 20s on the West Coast, Christine yearned from the familial connections and the distinct charm of the East Coast Four Seasons, prompting her to return to NEPA. When she decided to settle down, her raise her own family amidst the environment that shaped her early years. Christine loves being a full-time realtor because it provides her the flexibility to harmonize her professional life with her passions for creativity, such as painting and outdoor activities, delighting in kayaking and hiking with her family and dog, which gave her the opportunity to connect with nature and explore the stunning landscapes of NEPA. Welcome to the show, Christine. I'm so excited we finally got to do this.
Thanks, Kylie. I'm so happy to be here. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Tell us more about your upbringing in northeastern Pennsylvania. First, you grew up here, then you went to the West Coast, and you moved back here. Tell us kind of about your upbringing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I grew up in a very Polish household. My mom's dad is a came over on the boat through Ellis Island from Poland and landed here in NEPA, I call it, or NEPA. And so he immediately went into the service. And after surviving the front lines of being in the army or whatever line, I'm not sure, I think he was army, he went immediately into the coal mines, Pennsylvania coal mines. So, yes, I am a coal miner's granddaughter. So anyway, it's part of the patchwork of our lives, right? So being the baby of five in a very small house, I really yearned for more freedom. I would really just after school go right up in the mountains and go hiking and go play in the streams, and then just come home in time to do homework and go to bed. So
Describes
that's
my life
basically
every
my
single
upbringing.
day. But talking about being from a Polish family, I'm come from a Polish family as well. One of my grandparents came from Poland. But I have to ask, as someone who's Polish, do you like pierogies? Is a question.
Oh my goodness. I love all Polish food. Yeah, definitely.
Same here, because my
Definitely.
grandma, like my whole dad's side family, is literally the biggest Polish family you'll ever meet in your life. And my grandma makes like all these like homemade pierogies
Yep.
and have all of these like Polish foods. So I was like, oh, and since she's Polish, let's see if she actually likes pierogies and Polish food, because Polish
Oh,
food is definitely one of my favorite foods in a country, literally ever.
we just recently learned how to make them. So the past
Really?
two Easter's, yeah, we've made pierogies here in our house. So it's
That's
amazing to
awesome.
know how to make them. They come out
My
good.
grandma like taught me years ago her homemade recipe, but then I
Yep.
forgot about it. I'm literally the only one who knows how to make it, or she ever taught it to. I was very young, so I barely remember it. But it's literally the easiest process.
Those are the best kind, the recipes that have been handed down.
It is, but actually,
They've
you should
been
meet the
perfected
actual
for
hand
years.
written copy. That would be nice. Pivotal
I'm
moments
telling
that
you.
shaped your identity as a family's rebel in Northeastern Pennsylvania.
Well, I figure the most important one was when I decided to move to the West Coast by myself. Like that was unheard of back then. I'd never been there before. I'd never even flown in a plane before, but I just had this thing inside me. I just had to go to California. It was the strangest thing. I was only 20 years old. My mother said a novena for me every day, and thank God they did work. I'm back and I'm alive. I lived to tell the story. Not that it was terrible, but she didn't know what it was like. I was all the way across the other side of the country. So, but anyway, I love that I was there. And I'm sure there were moments that, before that, I don't recall. I just remember being like different than typical girls who wanted to be in the kitchen learning how to cook. I like to be in the garage with my brothers learning how to work on cars.
I'm
So
the
I'd say
same.
that would be most pivotal was when I moved, not just out of the house, but across the country.
I love it. Like if I ever moved like outside my parents' house, I would move all the way to California. I would do the same exact thing. But what part of California did you move to though? Like, did you live like in the Los Angeles area, or what part did you move to at 20 years old?
Most of the time it was Los Angeles County, and but I was also in San Diego for a while. I loved it down there, and then Northern California as well. So the whole state, basically.
Nice. I'm so jealous. I've literally said for years that I want to move to California, but I'm just like, I don't want to be that far away from family, like for that
It's
long. I think it
far.
lasts a week, like honestly.
It's yeah, it's far. It's one thing to visit there and another thing to live there.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a whole different story.
I know. Well, it's
Being
like
there for so
if
long.
your family lives in California, it's
Yeah,
different, or if you have family
yeah,
down there. But if you're
right.
living in Pennsylvania, you're like, well, what am I supposed to do if something happens to me? Do you have to
Well,
buy a
right.
plane ticket? They can't just drive 2 hours and just come whenever they want it.
It's so true. It's so true. And you don't think of it much when you're younger, but I was getting close to 30 and I'm like, you know what? It's too far. It's too far.
Yeah, like I said years ago that I was like, I want to move to California, go to college there and everything. But as I got older and a senior in high school, I'm just like, that's kind of a
Yeah,
silly move. Maybe if I'm older after I graduate, that's a different story. But when
it
I go to
is.
college, there's no chance.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So, can you share some of your favorite aspects of living in northeastern Pennsylvania, especially regarding the four seasons? Because with California, it's really around the same Pacific season rather than northeastern Pennsylvania, you get all four.
Exactly. And you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. It sounds crazy to some people, but a climate that's 80 degrees and sunny all the time is boring. I
It
mean,
can be, yeah.
you can always plan outdoor activities. No problem. Planning it for 3 months from now, you know it's going to be sunny and 80 or relatively, close to that. But
Mhm.
growing up in the Four Seasons and then living out there, I just really got tired of it. I missed the beauty. And an 80-degree Christmas day was really strange to me. It just
Yeah.
didn't feel right.
Well, you're just not used to this. It's always like 28, 30 degrees on Christmas Day or Christmas.
Yeah. So when I moved back here, it was in October. And oh my goodness, I remember driving back from the airport and I'm thinking, wow, I missed all this color. It's so beautiful. You don't get that where there's no Four Seasons, so besides the natural beauty of Northeast PA, it's centrally located. They've expanded. Like I don't feel like I'm in the old NEPA from when I left here. Like when I
Mhm.
left, it was like, oh, there's nothing to do around here. Well, I don't want to hear about that anymore these
Well, that
days.
was my mindset a few years ago, and still kind of
Yeah.
is today, actually, for me.
Well, you gotta just look around. There's really a lot. They've really expanded. We're centrally located between New York and Philly and the
That's
big cities
true.
close to highways. I mean, there's concerts, events, there's all kinds of things going
Yeah.
on. It's just a matter
Especially
of really
Wilkes-Barre,
looking
though, with
around.
all that's going on in Wilkes-Barre, like there's tons of things.
Yeah, it's so true. So true.
Yeah, I like
Ah,
this morning in terms of the fall weather, when I was driving back and forth from getting coffee this morning, I literally was looking around. I'm like, oh my God, like with the colors of the leaves this time of year and everything, I'm just like, oh my God, this is actually beautiful. Besides, like, this time when
beautiful.
I was sitting at a red light, just sitting there waiting to go drive, I'm just looking around just so I can keep myself busy. And I was like, oh, those are pretty.
Yeah.
It's like this is what I love about this time of year is the trees.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
Oh,
part about this
definitely.
time of year. Besides it
Definitely.
getting cold, I hate cold weather, don't get me wrong. But I literally love the trees and the leaves.
Yeah.
Like it's just literally
Stunning.
so pretty. But as a full-time realtor, like how do you balance your professional responsibilities with your creative passions?
Well, I am fortunate enough to be able to set my own schedule. So I choose like when I work and who I work with. I don't have to, work with everyone. So if they want to go have an appointment at 7 o'clock at night, like I'm like, no, I work
No, that's too
regular
late
normal
for me.
hours. It's too late for me. And so I will schedule, work, but also plan time in my schedule for me time. So I do work hard. Don't get me wrong. I do work hard, but do plan for some me time as well. Actually, I think
Course.
everyone should. It's important. You do better. I think you do better at your work.
That's true. Like that is something I actually struggle with is me times. I'm always like literally on a go, whether it's doing interviews or schoolwork, applying to colleges, or going to my job. I'm just like, there's no me time in this schedule today. But sometimes you have to make that schedule for me time. That's something that I'm currently trying to figure out as time goes on and something that I struggle with on a daily basis. But there's nothing wrong with getting me time now. That's something that people should at least take time for every single day.
I think it's imperative. Like I said, it helps you to do better at everything else.
That's true. Like
It
better
really does.
mind, better body, and better at your work is probably the go-to.
And you enjoy what you're doing better because you're not all stressed out from not taking care of yourself. I think that's
That's
huge. I
true.
really do.
If you
It
don't
took me
take
a while to
care of
realize that.
yourself, then you're gonna get sick and you're not gonna enjoy yourself. Trust me. I deal
Exactly.
with this on a daily basis.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with taking a day for yourself. I know with a lot of people, they say like, "Oh, if I spend a day for myself, I'm not gonna get any work done." Well, that's actually true. But your body and your mind is the most important thing at that moment.
Without a doubt.
So,
Without a
as
doubt.
you mentioned, that each sample that you have has its own story. I know you have a lot to talk about with this, but can you kind of elaborate on a few samples that stand out to you and the memories they evoke for you?
Absolutely. My sand and soil collection, just a few statistics, not to bore anyone, but I think it's pretty cool because it's growing every single day. There's 288 samples from 46 different countries, 36 of the 50 US states, United States. Three of them are volcanoes and glaciers, nine national parks, and of course the Caribbean islands. But seven of them are from Northeast PA, which I collected myself. So they are part. I don't just get the exotic samples; they're locally here from the top of Campbell's Ledge, the Susquehanna River at Laceyville, the Francis E. Walter Dam in Whitehaven. So I'm enjoying the beautiful outdoors and collecting samples. So this couple of screens I'm going to show, these are not labeled the way that I just have some of the names on there to show you a couple of the places that they came from. Um, but each sample is special to me since they represent, family and friends and myself having a unique journey to go out and get these little samples, regardless of where they came from. I wish I could talk about them all. They're all special. But one of the samples it was collected by my son during our recent total eclipse. He drove to the spot in upstate New York. My daughter climbed a volcano in Guatemala. My other daughter got some from beautiful beaches in Croatia. And I was
Ooh.
fortunate, yeah, it's so gorgeous. I was fortunate enough to collect from the homeland from Poland a few years ago on my own. So
So
that was really cool.
yes, it might as well represent our culture in Poland. I've never
Exactly.
been, but I've been dying to actually go to Poland and actually trying the food. Like that's kind of the big thing for me when visiting Poland.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. You have to. I was so fortunate to get there.
Like how long did you go for? Did you go for
Um,
a couple of days
these
or?
actually went for about 10 days because I went to a couple different countries. Like out there, countries are almost like states for us. They're really
Yeah.
close together. So I was in Prague and Budapest and Bratislava, Austria, and then Poland.
Oh, nice. That seems so fun.
Oh, so there's the Caribbean.
Ooh.
Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want it. So those are typical. Like, that's kind of how it started with just sand. But then I realized not everywhere is there sand. There's dirt and or volcanic ash and glacial silt and just places that don't have beaches. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to limit myself. I
Yeah, might
can't.
as well get as much as you can.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So. You asked how I obtained my samples. Well, it started back in the 1980s where I got my first one. And I did not plan to have a collection, which is just really funny. But once I traveled more and others heard about it, I started getting them from all over the place. And like things would just start coming to me in bags and just so that they're virgin sand and soils, not landscaped or prepackaged from a a gift shop. And so I'm really happy that they're out. They're just, it's not ideal. I'm still planning like how I would set these up, like to be a little better of a display. But it's always expanding. So once you think you have like all of, say Florida, well, you don't. You get another Florida, and it's like, oh man, now where am I putting these? So
Yeah, it's a beautiful collection. Like, I don't know where you put them all though. Like, because there's
well,
so many.
they're behind me on shelves of various sizes and shapes that I was made a couple of years ago. But again, it's not really ideal. I'm still working on it.
I'm sure they'd be more probably by the end of the year.
And speaking of that, you also asked about like, is there a special process or a ritual that adds when I'm doing them? So if it's not one that I've obtained by myself, the very first thing that I do, and I'll go to that screen, is I go on Google Maps and I'll look to see where it is. Like this particular one on the left is from Thailand. It
Ooh.
said Thailand at the top, but I guess you can't see that. But if you look to the upper right corner, that's where the soil is from. That like amazing blue water. I know. Another one is that lower right corner, the Cliffs of Mar, it's called, from County Clare, Ireland. Like I have dirt from there. It just amazes me.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
that's
and just the
beautiful.
fact that, many memories are made when they're collecting their spelling. So when I go to Google Maps, it also, isn't it beautiful? That's Shoshone Falls in Idaho. I've
Yeah, the
never been there.
waterfalls
That was a
though.
friend of
Oh my
mine that
God.
went there, and he couldn't wait to get me the sand. He's like, "Here you go, I got the sand." Like, oh my God! So
Like, thank you. Now it has to be
yes,
from
isn't that
Ireland now.
amazing? So what I do after I look on Google Maps is then spreadsheet that I was keeping. I don't really have a screenshot of that, but I have a spreadsheet because someone suggested I should put this in the Guinness Book of World Records,
You should.
which I'm still kind of looking into that. It's a little bit of a process. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I have the paperwork. I just have to, figure it out. So then this next screen shows I put push pins in a map. Um, that I have on my wall. And again, it's not super ideal because it's just on drywall and needs to be mounted and all that. I haven't gotten to that yet, but so I just love doing that as well. And then I label the bottle. I dry the sand or soil out first before I put it in the bottle, and then I'll put it in the bottle. I label it, and then it's officially part of the collection. So that's my little sign I have for when we have people over for Thanksgiving. So if they if they haven't seen it yet or they haven't seen the updated collection, they can request another tour.
Oh my gosh.
So
Tour
that's
part two.
my
Let's just do another tour to see if you got more.
tour part two. Oh, and these are my collection of bottles waiting for sand, and they're the corks. I keep corks from, wine bottles and different tops. It's just a little section of the lower level of my house, but I really could use and there's the map, but I could really use to like open up the whole wall here and spread them out more.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm sure
We'll
there'll probably
see.
be more at this time. Maybe they
It's
can
never
open them
ending.
all.
It's never ending. I'm forever
No,
either
not at
getting
all.
them myself or friends are sending them to me, and I welcome them with open arms. I just love all of them. So,
Yeah, like you have to accept it. People are asking you if you wanted it.
yeah, without a doubt. And now there's times where people will give me one from someplace I already have, say Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Yeah.
I'll take it anyway, and I'll mix it with the one that I already have so that it's still part of the collection. I won't just say, no, I don't want it because I already have. Like, I'll just take it anyway and just
Yeah,
mix
just so
it and
you
put it
have
back in the
it.
bottle.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah, to say, well, I'll take it, even if you put it in the same
Yeah.
bottle, like just hide the other
Right.
one somewhere.
Yep.
But the
Yeah.
last thing I have to ask you is like, how can people connect with you and your work?
My Facebook and Instagram are NEPA for sale because I'm a realtor, but cell numbers on there, my email's on there. If anyone I only have 6 of the 7 continents. So if someone has Antarctica they want to send to me, I would love that.
All right, perfect. If you guys have an article that you want to get rid of, make sure to contact her since you get all 7. Make sure she
I
gets all of
appreciate
them.
that.
But thank you
Oh, I
so
appreciate
much
it.
for all the info you gave us. I know
Oh,
that
you're
I never
welcome.
seen anyone have so much samples from places as you do. So I literally learned more things about that than anyone. So I really appreciate all the
Oh, cool.
info and learning more today than I ever learned about this subject. So I really appreciate all the info you gave us and really appreciate you coming on and taking the time chatting with us and glad we were able to find the time to do this.
Oh, thanks, Kylie. And any further questions, feel free to get back in touch with me because there's so much, there's a story to every single bottle. Every
Will
single one has a
do. We have to
story.
do a separate episode for that, like just so we can
We
get a
should.
story or
We
literal
should.
stories about it.
Yeah, they're all special. They're all special, whether it's local or from distant lands. They're all special to me and they mean a lot to me. And
Yeah,
so
that's the
thanks for
best
having
part. It's
me.
all about the memories of this
It
every
really is.
situation. But
Really
thank
is.
you everyone for listening. I hope you guys learned something new today. This is definitely the episode for you if you want to learn something new. Make sure to like, subscribe, and review, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. And